Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. Oh no! What? Who could have done this? Anyway, let's talk about it. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you also know me and my content, and thus know that for the past year, almost, on either here or my Twitch, I have been streaming as the Aumeroze persona, and the name still isn't gonna change, so don't worry about that. It's still the name I prefer to go by in pretty much any situation. But what's changing is the character herself. As you saw in my not-so-subtle opening skit, I have decided to retire the Aumeroze character as the main persona that I use to represent myself online. And there's a lot that goes into this, a lot of me doubting myself, a lot of me wondering what my struggles are, but let's face it, you've probably heard it a million times. The last thing you probably want to hear is another burnout story about another creator that, oh, woe is me, I had mental struggles and did all this. So anyway, to cut to the chase, basically, as I kept working with Aumeroze and kept thinking about content I wanted to do with Aumeroze, the character, the more I started to realize that, to me, in particular, she was a character. And while she did represent a few parts of me, she didn't quite represent me in entirety. One of the best examples is I draw. I have made mostly assets for my channel. I made Aumeroze herself. And in fact, I'm even now starting an art business, which you can check out in the link in the description if you want to get some cool stuff. But point is, she became a character because the difference between her and me in that sense is that Aumeroze doesn't draw. She's more of just the Link-esque adventuring type. She likes to go out. She's basically a cross between Link and Goku. She likes to fight. She enjoys fighting. She likes going outside and exploring things and helping people along the way. But she doesn't really slow down a lot. And so, while she was great at representing the part of me that was outgoing and explorative, she wasn't really the type to embody the quieter parts of me, the part of me that likes to sit in the apartment and draw for hours on end, the part of me that likes to just relax in some cases. And so, because of that, this is actually why I made another character that I was originally going to turn into a VTuber called Blue Rose. Some of you may have seen her. I don't know. It depends on how active you are on my Twitter, mostly, because that's mostly where she existed for the longest time, until I finally made merch of her as part of the art business. But but Blue Rose was going to be my attempt to fix it, and in that attempt, I ended up going way in the opposite direction, where basically Blue Rose was too quiet and didn't embody any of the explorative parts of me, or the excited parts of me, or the chaotic parts of me that's just like, I'm just gonna try this, you know? And so ultimately, and that's what I've been struggling with since about November, December. I was planning on rebranding to Blue Rose at that point, but then I didn't, because I started to realize that, while yes, Blue Rose still represented parts of me, she once again kind of fell into the similar category where she didn't quite represent all of what I wanted to get across online. And so, once again, I was kind of just left stuck for a while. And ultimately, I've basically just decided I'm wiping the slate clean. I'm going to erase everything that came before, and I'm just going to completely start everything pretty much fresh. That way I have no personal baggage of like, oh, I can't do stuff because I already did other stuff and whatever. No, I'm just gonna make stuff now, basically. Which you'll notice is the exact same thing I said in my other video, so that is still an ongoing process. But yeah, so this is just an update video to tell you that Aumeroze, the character Aumeroze that you've known, the hybrid retriever with a bloodlust for adventure that I put in all our descriptions, she's more or less being retired. I'm rebranding more or less. And I am instead going to go with an avatar that is a lot closer to just me IRL. That way there's no more of a mascot slash, just representative of me online, rather than an actual character with a unique backstory or anything like that. So, I introduce you all to me, Aumeroze VT, your new VTuber going forward, and how I will continue to represent myself in these videos. I still haven't made a model for her yet, but I really love this design. Like, I really, really love this design. But yeah, so as you can see, I just kind of threw in myself and things I'd actually wear. Like, I actually do wear the thumbhole sleeves in real life and fingerless gloves in real life. And then obviously her hair's up in a ponytail because I usually wear mine in a ponytail just for the convenience. And then obviously some things that are more I wish I could wear, like the pirate skirt. Thigh highs I do just wear. Thigh highs are amazing. I love them. Definitely not a stereotype. But no, I love wearing thigh highs in real life. So of course I had to give her thigh highs as well. And then there's also a mix of some things that I just liked from the other designs. For example, I have a little reference to Blue Rose in the hair tie, because her holding back her ponytail has a little bow made of the same aesthetic, at least, of Blue Rose's arms. And then there's obviously the logo that was more so used with Blue Rose on the chest. And then of course the boots are more of a reference to Aumeroze, where those are the same style of her boots, just basically recolored and with a little bit of variation, so it's not 1-to-1 the same. But yeah, and then of course going from there, we also have, you'll notice it's a looser fitting shirt than I've really done with my OCs before. And that's just because that's the kind of shirts I wear in real life. I actively try to go out of my way most times to get like a bigger shirt because I like baggier shirts. And so I'll be honest, the torso design specifically, the shirt and the striped sleeve were actually inspired by a new game I've been playing that you've probably been seeing this whole video. The Neverness to Everness. It's a new, like, Genshin style-ish. Got basically, if Genshin Impact met GTA, is kind of how it feels. And they have an outfit for the main player character, like the Traveler equivalent, which is like the Appraiser or whatever, /0, and there's a variation of her outfit called the City Wanderer outfit, and so I pretty blatantly just ripped the shirt and torso, basically the torso, from that character, and I was like, you're coming with me. The gauntlet is very loosely inspired by Link's gauntlets from Hyrule Warriors, the first one, the one that came out on Wii U originally, and with some alterations to become the Media Gauntlet, with like the new modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Disc modules for like the virtual cards or whatever. And then obviously some little navigation buttons, just to kind of get off the idea that it's a high-tech gauntlet that can do a lot of techie stuff. I don't know. And then the most obvious part that I haven't talked about yet is, of course, the hood, which is very much inspired by Ruby's hood from the series Ruby. Because I really loved Ruby's design, and I wanted to incorporate some parts of it, but by the time I looked at Ruby for inspiration, I already knew I wanted to go with the skirt from Blue Rose, because that's like the pirate skirt is something I want to get in real life. And then I already had the boots figured out, which is another part of Ruby's design I liked. I already had the gloves and gauntlets thing figured out by that point. And so I decided to just grab her hood. And I think it works. I think it looks nice. And then obviously I made it blue because blue's my favorite color. And then the pride pin clips are just a little bit of me repping myself a little bit because I have to. But yeah, so, because if you don't know, I'm trans and pan. So yeah, I wanted to represent that somewhere because obviously that is a part of who I am. But I also wanted it to be a little more subtle. Like, I didn't just want to put a blatant flag across the entire thing or anything like that. So I think the little buttons holding the hood on are a nice little compromise. But yeah, so this is it. This is your new VTuber going forward, or at least how I'm going to represent myself online. I'm still deciding whether I want to go with like a PNG model just to save myself the effort, or if I do want to go through the whole rigging it and making the special art, cutting it apart, making a whole rig and everything like that. But for the most part, I just think it's really cute, and I think it'll be a good design to go forward with and to just be myself with finally. Not try and play some sort of character for you guys, but actually just show you what I'm like. A little bit of a weirdo, but ultimately, hopefully, a relaxed and somewhat excitable weirdo, I guess. I don't know. At this point, I'm just rambling. So, yeah, with that, I will see you next time. The next video, I'm probably just going to rant about Neverness to Everness, I'm going to be honest, because I really love this game. I didn't qualify for the creator program. I'm not sponsored. Would love to be sponsored. So, as I was in the process of making this video, I came across the fact that apparently NTE uses generative AI for some of its assets. According to the company, they have made an official statement. They claim that the core gameplay and character designs were not made using AI. However, they do admit that for secondary assets, in their own words, did use AI. People have more or less confirmed that it's been used in at least one cutscene, because there's a cutscene that has like a old-timey animation, and that pretty blatantly uses AI. And then people also have found it on a few billboards. Some of it, I think, is just references that people are saying is AI just because it happens to reference something that already exists, which is something that's been in games like this forever. But yeah, so apparently the billboards do use Gen AI. At least some of them, like a couple of them. And there's actually a couple that, even just thinking back, I can probably point to and be like, yeah, that's probably Gen AI. So, yeah, know that my praise for the game was before all of that. Yeah, that's going to be part of the NTE video. I'm still making that video, but there's definitely going to be a shift in focus on that video, to say the least. If the developers can hear me. But, like I said, either way, I'm going to make that video just because I can. And because it's something I really love. And that's what I want to get back to, is just using this channel as an excuse to yap about the things I love, which I think is probably a healthier and better way to do it than I was ever trying to anyway.